So what is going on, my broskies? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And finally, Treasure Cruise has gone and given us the summer update information. So this is going to be a brand new update. I believe it's 15.2 or 15.1. Let's go ahead down below here. Let's just go through it all because there is a lot to talk about here, okay? Let's go ahead and get started here with the first image. So OPTC Run, they did mention this during like one of the previous letters in the community, where they mentioned that in the next update there was going to be some type of mini game, and this is what it's going to be: OPTC Run, a new mini game where you tap to control the ever-running Luffy, overcome obstacles and enemies, and aim for a high score. There's enemies, items, and pitfalls. Tap the screen at the right time and earn a score. Aim for the perfect tap. So you can see like Luffy's running along here. You got an enemy buggy. You've got some berries, a chest, all that good stuff. So this is the mini game that's going to be coming out with this very minor update. Well, I say it's a minor update. 15.1. There's a lot of things in this update, but we'll go through it because I'm not like ultra excited about this update. I was expecting something a little bit different, but I digress. Let's just talk about this. There's just so much to get through. So you can only challenge it 3 times, I assume 3 times per day, plus use stamina meat to recover the challenge permits as much as you want. Starts every Sunday at 6 AM until Monday 6 AM PST. Be sure to participate whenever the event is on. We'll have to wait and see how long it's lasts for. Maybe it's just like 1 week throughout every month. You'll get access to it and you can just, perform the OPTC run, and that's just how it works. And then from the OPTC Run rank rewards, you can get the new item, Rainbow Tavern Medals, to do rare recruits. We'll talk more about this when we get deeper into this video, but this is actually, this is one of the changes that I think could be really, really good for the game. Again, we'll talk more about it once we get more information. So yeah, this is just a mini game. It's kind of like how to explain it? Like Subway Surfers, I guess, in a way. Like Temple Run. Those types of games where you have like an everlasting thing and you just try and aim for a high score. That's basically all it is, right? So I mean, this sounds cool. I don't mind this at all. This is a cool little update. But let's get into the meat and potatoes, okay? Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this update. Next, we have the revision of damage reduction modifier. So this is obviously referring to the damage cap, okay? This is a big one for the hardcore players out there. Damage adjustment rework. Changes to damage adjustments when exceeding 1 trillion damage. Until now, adjustments have been made when the damage exceeds 1 trillion, but now the values have been adjusted and refined so you can dish out even more damage. So it mentions here previously, if you do 5 million damage, approximately you'll get 1.04 trillion damage. And then it says new 5 trillion damage, approximately 1.04 trillion. But you see the modifier has changed. So this is weird. I don't understand what this is referring to exactly because this is the same. But as we get down below, it gives us a bit more info. It says, on top of that, the character levels and future planned potential abilities, the damage will increase even further. So we can see here that by doing 5 trillion damage, when you have a damage limit break, yes, we're getting a new form of limit break into the game. You have a character level upgrade, you have a type upgrade apparently, and then that gives you your total. Now when it mentions type, we'll talk more about that because this is referring to the new potential ability that they're going to be putting into the game. So you see that this Luffy here is going to be hitting for 2.3 trillion damage as opposed to the 1.04. So it's a pretty big difference. You're literally over doubling your damage by having this type of ability here. So essentially, if you want to do more damage past the damage cap, in order to do it, you're going to have to try and achieve these new potential abilities or have higher levels on your characters. Now, what does that actually mean? Because it does go through that as well. So damage limit break 1, character level effects. When creating a crew, the higher the total of the character levels, the easier it is to deal damage. If everyone on the crew is level 100, 5 trillion damage will be adjusted to 1.4 trillion. And then it says, if you include supports and helper captains, and everyone on the crew is level 150, then 5 trillion damage will be adjusted to 2 trillion damage. So it's interesting because we don't know if the level system is like including the potential ability, or if the potential ability is for a character, or if it's for maybe it's a whole crew effect, and we're not really 100% sure yet. But it looks like if you have, you know, higher investments on your characters, it will enable you to do more damage through the damage cap, which is a pretty big deal. But at the same time, you know, like, the rich get richer, right? Because most of the time, the damage cap really only affects the hardcore, heavy spenders of the game. And these are the types of players that are going to have max investments on their characters anyways. So I feel like people are going to be able to reach this max damage cap a lot easier if we're, like, pivoting straight to this. We'll see. It also mentions here the potential ability has been added, where it mentions damage limit break for type and damage limit break for class. So as we mentioned here, where it says damage limit break, you says for the character level you get plus 1.5. My assumption is that if a character is level 150, they will get a 1.5 bonus. And then again, it says the potential ability for type or class. This one is for type, for the psi type, which also gives 1.5. Again, my assumption would be if you have that potential ability at level 5, then you can go ahead and get the plus 1.5 bonus. Potentially you get a 0.1 increase every time you level it up. Something along those lines. Giving you a total modifier change to give you more damage through the damage cap. And that's kind of how it works. 2 new potential abilities will be added. The highest value of the activated effects will be reflected in the adjustment. It says each potential ability does not stack, with the highest value from damage limit break type and class being applied, and the final value will be adjusted by adding character level effects. Limit break with both character levels and potential abilities to deal huge damage. So yeah, again, going back to this, you want to level your characters, and you also want to try and use characters with these new potential abilities to do even more damage through the damage cap. It's basically what it is. And I feel like with them introducing this, I feel like it's not going to be a massive change realistically, but what this means is that Bandai will probably have the free reign to start introducing even more power creep into the game, because they'll be like, oh, you know, not everyone can reach the damage cap, so why not just release these crazy high-powered abilities, as we've seen with characters like J. Garcia Saturn having upwards of over a 6 times, it can achieve up to a 10 times attack boost, and with Garp coming out, Kizaru and Ace, that combo is so strong, and Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji with double stacking attack and orb boost with their high multipliers. I feel like this is going to give Bandai the free reign to just scale power levels to new heights. So again, we'll have to wait and see how this kind of turns out. I don't know if this is going to be the best way forward for adjusting the damage cap. I mean, it's really Bandai's fault at the end of the day for introducing ultra powerful characters that are able to achieve these high damage numbers. But it is what it is, right? So this is what we have in terms of the update in regards to the damage modifiers for damage cap, okay? We move on to the next thing where it says changes in recruit and character power-up. Okay, let's go ahead and pull up this screen. Recruit changes. Level limit break characters will appear in recruits. Now, I sincerely hope that doesn't mean that this character is going to be in recruits, because this is a free-to-play Monkey D. Luffy that I don't think is pullable at all. If they end up adding this character into rare recruits, that would feel really, really bad, so let's hope that's not the case. The availability of characters and their details will vary by recruit. Please check the notice for each recruit for the details. We'll see, but if this opens up the door for potentially adding characters into banners that already have level limit break on them, that would be pretty cool. That may kind of incentivize people to go deeper on banners, like whenever they do a paywalled super evolution, if you do end up pulling for them, which most of the time you really shouldn't, but when you pull for them, like, they'll typically have a level limit break, and you know, you're not going to have the investments on it. It just doesn't make any sense. So my guess is that when they do a paywalled 6+, that character, if you end up pulling them, will come at level limit break 5 now. Just a random guess, but we'll see. Also mentioning changes to power up. So when turning characters of the same evolution tree into materials, some of the stats are now carried over. Currently, like, you know, cotton candy is already carried over, but now what they're doing is that potential ability levels are going to be carried over. Number of times a same evolution tree was used for power up, so I'm assuming this is regarding level limit break. So if you have like a level limit break 4 character and you feed it into another unit, that unit you feed into of the same evolution tree will receive all of that buff. And also luck drops for co-op. Okay, so all of those are going to be transferred over if you feed them into the same evolution tree. Like, nothing major here. I mean, the level limit break added to rare recruits could be massive, but we just don't know how it's going to function yet. So at the moment, I don't really care too much about this one. It's hard to really say if it's going to be good or not. This one, though, is really, really interesting, okay? So we kind of talked about this with OPTC Run. It says one of the main rewards for doing this is you get these Rainbow Tavern medals. What these are is a new way to recruit characters at the tavern. They can be obtained from event rewards and can be used in place of rainbow gems at the tavern. So we don't know if it's going to be like, if you specifically, like, it might just be a thing where you can accumulate this currency, and it literally just counts as a rainbow gem. But like, obviously with rainbow gems you can do more than just spend, you can use them to refill your stamina, you can use them to unlock unlockable quests, you can use them for character box spaces. There's a lot of different things you can use them for. Obviously the most of the time you're going to use them for summoning. So I don't really understand why they're doing this, because they can do really shady stuff with this, because like, they could be like, when a new Super Sugo Fest comes out, they'd be like, oh yeah, it's a new Super Sugo Fest and you can't use these Rainbow Tavern medals to summon on that banner. I hope they don't go down that route, because that would be extremely shady and everyone would absolutely despise that. But like, what I would hope this is like, maybe if they can just get rid of all of the old school rare recruit tickets that we acquire, from logins and events, and they replace them with this instead. That would be really, really cool, because I hate going through all those stupid tickets all the time. It can just be really frustrating, really tedious, and if they change it to this, I think that would be really cool. Rainbow Tavern medals will expire after a certain period once they are obtained, so please make sure to use them before they expire. Check the tavern or mail receive screen for the expiration date, okay? So it looks like, yeah, so you can click the information button on the tavern and it's going to show you when certain amounts of them are going to expire. So it looks like even though they have over 1,000 of these medals, you can see here that this 5 quantity leaves in 50 minutes. A 10 quantity leaves in 7 days. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out, but I just hope they don't go down the route of doing extremely shady stuff where it's just going to really frustrate the whole community. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, all of this is wait and see. Just in theory, this has good application, but Bandai's execution is never usually on point. So we'll have to wait and see about that one. Okay, moving on. We have an update to Kizuna Clash, which I think is definitely needed here. This is actually something that I brought up on the Good Great Perfect podcast about a month ago, talking about ways to make Kizuna a little bit more exciting, and this is a really interesting way to do it, with the new Kizuna level Turbo Potion. So when you use this new Kizuna level Turbo Potion, you can challenge bosses from anywhere between the current boss that you're at, or 4 levels higher. So you can see this guy's level 30. By using the Turbo Potion, you can automatically challenge level 34. And if you defeat the boss after using that super Turbo Potion, it will clear the levels up to the one that you have just challenged, and you receive all of the rewards from each level that you skipped. So it's a really good way to get through Kizuna faster, because having to wait for all of those Kizuna tokens. Well, actually, that's an interesting thing. If you want to challenge level 34, do you have to use the Kizuna tokens to get to that point? Because every time you challenge a boss, it's like 20 tokens. So this is like 20, 40, 60, 80. Hopefully that doesn't require you to challenge like with 80 tokens additional. Like, that would feel really bad. Or even 100 tokens different. Like, that would be really bad. If it's just use the Turbo Potion and it still only costs 20 Kizuna tokens to challenge the boss, and then you get all of the previous rewards before that, that would be really, really cool. Now, obviously, the other issue is how do we acquire the turbo potion? Because if this is one of those things where you only get like one every single event, then what's the point, right? There's just no point. Like, there's just really no point at all. So you'd probably just save it until you want to go crazy on a super boss Kizuna or something like that. They may put them into gem packs. That would make a lot of sense. We'll have to wait and see. So, of course, by doing this, you can acquire treasure drops, Kizuna tickets, clash points, and super boss tokens. If you game over using the Kizuna turbo potion, you can challenge the same level again, and the dealt damage will be carried over, so that's kind of good. And when you use the turbo potion, you can also send out an assist quest. So even if you do use the turbo potion and you can't beat the boss, someone can beat it for you, and then you can still get all of the clear rewards for it. So that's nice. It doesn't really waste it if you fail that run, which is nice. So look, I don't think this is going to fix Kizuna overall, because the rewards in the Kizuna exchange are the things that need the most attention, and also the Kizuna insignia as well. But again, it really comes down to how do we acquire these turbo potions, because if they're way too hard to get, if we only get like one per event, then this is going to be trash and doesn't really mean anything. It's a very redundant update, so we'll have to wait and see. Alright, now we have a new letter, which is cool. So let's go ahead and have a look and see what they have to say after revealing this update. Learn everything about 15.1, a retrospective about the 11th anniversary and upcoming updates, sneak peek about One Piece Day 2025. Alright, let's go ahead and have a read through this letter. Looking back on 11 years, with all the support of Treasure Cruise players, we were able to celebrate our 11th anniversary on the 12th of May. I'd like to express our gratitude. For the 11th anniversary, introduced dynamic character Luffy Zoro Sanji with new animations, as well as characters from the Egghead Saga. We also prepared various campaigns and new content for the game as Assault Rumble and in the 11th anniversary. Make it your Sugo Fest. We hope you enjoyed it. In order to continue to provide enjoyable experience, we plan to take into account the surveys carried out during the anniversary period for the development and management of the game moving forward. In particular, we have received a lot of feedback on the new Assault Rumble content. Notably, a great deal of feedback was in reference to rewards, so we're working towards adding more rewards in the near future. Wait, really? I personally felt that the rewards that you get for completing Assault Rumble were actually pretty good. For the amount of investment, time investment, gem investment that you have to put into Assault Rumble, I felt like the rewards were pretty fair. So I don't really know where they got this from. I mean, you guys out there may have differing opinions, but I thought that it was actually relatively okay. Okay, we'll see. We're also considering various other improvements based on the feedback provided and plan to announce them at a later date. We'll be releasing in-game notices regarding the feedback we've received on other events and requested features, so we kindly ask for your patience. Okay, we'll see. Let's move on. Future planned updates. Here is some follow-up information about update plans. We'll go over some of the details. We received a lot of feedback concerning quality of life in the game, so we plan to add improvements to address that. More detailed information will be announced via the in-game notice about the specific update schedule for various items as they become available, okay? Regarding treasure map improvements, it just feels like we always get treasure map improvements. I feel like treasure map's relatively good right now. Let's see. To create a more pleasant gameplay experience and make it easier for players to aim for a higher league ranking, we plan to implement the following improvement to play environment. We will reduce the difficulty of crew editing by limiting battles requiring crew editing to boss battles and intrusion battles, while the encounter battles portion will be removed. Okay, so the wording on this is a little bit strange, but this could mean multiple different things. This could mean that the units you use in the like normal mini bosses are now able to be used on the final bosses as well, or the way that this may be worded is like you don't have to challenge the encounter battles anymore. You just go for boss and intrusion. Either of those would be pretty cool, honestly, and would make the whole treasure map experience a lot easier. Because a lot of the time, when people are just building for those encounter boss battles, the battle rush bosses, people are often just, you know, trying to make them as fast as possible. Now, one thing that I just remembered is that the bosses that you beat at the end are called battle rush bosses. The encounter battles, I believe, are referred to the battles in the middle of the map as you make your way through to the end of the map. So it sounds like they may be removing all of the encounter battles in the mid-map, which like might make it a little bit faster, I suppose. There could be benefits to that. Okay, again, we don't have full details, but this could be interesting. regarding crew edit. We're considering implementing a new feature allowing players to look at cleared crew of others who have already cleared quests. This feature is for users who are still getting familiar with the crew editing as well as new players. Players who have cleared quests may choose to register their cleared crew. I think this is a really good idea because it's always difficult getting new players into the game, and adding any singular feature to make the quality of life for new players better is going to be good. So having a way to clear piece of content, register your crew as, you know, a good team that people can use. And what I would hopefully like to see is that when a new player jumps into the game, they click on a piece of content, they can click cleared crews, and if they have all of the units on a cleared crew, they can just click a button and it automatically sets the team for them. I think that would be awesome. So hopefully they go down that route. That would be really, really cool. Regarding the addition of volume adjustment, we plan to implement a feature to allow players to finally adjust the volume, as now it's only possible for the volume settings to be set as on or off. Okay, I don't know who asked for this one, but shout out to those volume gurus who wanted that. In addition to the above, we're also considering adding features that will make various events more enjoyable and easier to play. We will continue the development and management of the game with the goal of creating more comfortable and enjoyable content, environment for all users. Okay, I mean, nothing mentioned about, like, old clashes, arenas, GARP challenges, nothing like that. So the things that people have continuously asked for, they've seemingly ignored, and they put in volume. They're gonna put in volume adjustment. When you're comparing the amount of people that have asked for Clash, Arena, Coliseum, GARP challenges to the amount of people that have asked for volume adjustment, it just, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make sense. That really doesn't make sense. Okay, announcing the latest information on One Piece Day. To celebrate One Piece Day 2025, we'll be holding a One Piece Day celebration Sugo Fest. We plan to share information about this Sugo Fest and the One Piece news at One Piece Day 25 #1 program planned on One Piece Day main stage August 9th at 7 PM PST. The main stage events will be live streamed on the official One Piece YouTube channel for free, so be sure to watch. And it mentions right here that this is not going to be a Super Sugo Fest. That's genuinely surprising. I thought for sure it was going to be. We had one last year. At the same time, I think this does also make sense if we're talking about, you know, what is going on in the One Piece anime right now. I think that they are probably going to hold off at least maybe a couple more months before they introduce another Super Sugo Fest, because they want it to be big. And I think currently where it stands right now, I wouldn't really put anything that is in the current episodes as a Super Sugo Fest exclusive. So despite the fact that it's not a Super Sugo Fest exclusive, this is still a good thing, because this gives people more time to conserve their rainbow gems to you know, save for the next big banner, right? This does also mean that if you are feeling up to it, you can go back and summon on Monkey D. Garp or Figureland Garling. Then again, I would probably suggest to wait and see what is revealed for the for this One Piece Day Sugo Fest, because they're going to introduce something new for sure. We don't know what it is, so you may want to wait and see what they have revealed. They may have some interesting characters that are going to be boosted as well, so we'll see. So with that being said, that is all of the information that we currently have that was revealed today on the One Piece X account on the social media. So yeah, version 15.1 is coming up very, very shortly. They didn't actually announce when this update is going to go live yet. I believe they actually did mention it in-game. I haven't actually logged into Treasure Cruise yet since the news time came up. Okay, so I have this stuff now. So if we go over here, I have it in-game right now. So you can see that the version 15.1 is going to go up at August 6th at 1 p.m. PST time is when the maintenance will start. And then at, midnight PST on the 7th. So it's going to be pretty early in the morning, like 4 a.m. in the morning here, EST time. So I definitely will not be awake when that update goes live, but we'll obviously make a video when I wake up. So it's going to be in 1 week time, essentially. In 1 week from now is when we should expect this new update to come up. Let's see if anything else is actually mentioned here. It says added new features for characters, which is interesting. OPTC Run, Damage Limit Break, Rainbow Tavern Medal, Kizuna Level Turbo. Added new free Sugo Fest recruit feature for the following days after clearing the tutorial. Adjusted tutorial character appearing characters due to above changes. Certain character recruits are able to appear as level limit breaks. Certain stats carried over for power-ups. Adjusted certain requirement descriptions of Super Tandem Special for clarity. Okay. So nothing too crazy here. There was some interesting stuff that was just mentioned there, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this all goes up. But that's going to wrap it up for me for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video today. If you enjoyed it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.